So this is officially the longest government shutdown in the history of this country, and it will not end today. There's no vote scheduled in the Senate today, but it could happen tomorrow, or maybe even the day after, because it seems like many people are now coming to the realization that there's more of an appetite to reopen the government. And it had something to do with the elections that took place yesterday. You probably witnessed it. Have a new governor in Virginia, Democrat. New governor in New Jersey, Democrat. Have a new mayor in New York City. That one caught a lot of people by surprise. He is a Democrat socialist, and I believe he's the first Muslim to ever be elected as mayor of New York City. So that has a lot of people's attention right now. And a lot of people are saying there's no more political leverage. Now, you can always point to the Affordable Care Act, the premium subsidies for health care. That was originally what it was all about. But the president has come out and he said, well, maybe it had something to do with these elections. He made the same theory when it came to the No Kings protest, but that turned out to be false. So will we see the government reopen? It looks more and more likely. But the date of November 21st, that was the original date for the continuing resolution. That date ain't going to cut it no more. You can't have November 21st because we're already in the first week of November. So that date is going to have to be pushed to December or probably January of next year. And then it'll be the same thing once again, another CR. You know how this goes. It's CR after CR. Can we pass a full budget? Maybe, but it probably won't be anytime soon. Allegedly, there are some Senate Democrats, about a dozen of them, that are privately signaling, hey, we're ready to come to the table. We're ready to sign off on a clean, continuing resolution. And that's great that it happens. I hope it happens this week. But what would have been even better is if it happened before the missed paychecks, before the shutdown layoffs, before the partial SNAP missed payments. Not everybody's getting the SNAP benefit as of right now. Now, all the Republicans need are 5 Democrats. Seems like they have a lot more than that, but we're going to have to wait to see how this plays out Thursday and Friday. The other alternative from compromising, from having the discussion, the other alternative is to get rid of the filibuster. Now, we heard lawmakers bring this up last week, 2 weeks ago. The idea was floated. What if we just get rid of the filibuster? Because if we do that, then the Republicans, they don't need to have a supermajority. They can pass legislation with just a simple majority. They have a simple majority right now. So that's not what's stopping them. What's stopping them is getting the full 60 votes. That's what's stopping them. But most people just blew off that idea, to include the media. Nobody thought, anybody was taking it serious. But here we have today, President Trump comes out and he fully supports it. He's like, let's do it. Let's get rid of the filibuster. What's the problem with that? So getting rid of the filibuster is very much short-term thinking. So what the president is probably thinking is, I have 3 years to make stuff happen. I'm not going to get any legislation passed if I have to rely on a supermajority, because the Democrats are not going to support 99% of what I put in there. So this is a way that you're thinking about my legacy, right? My legacy, what am I going to do during my administration? I want to get so many things done. I want to do the voting, change voting laws. I want to do this, that, and the other. The only way to do it, get rid of the filibuster. But it's not long-term thinking, because if and when the Democrats come back into power, they're going to have the same ability to pass whatever that they want. It doesn't even matter. So this really puts the minority party at an extreme disadvantage. And the way that he's trying to explain it, he's trying to let everyone know that the Democrats are going to do the exact same thing. They're going to get rid of the filibuster as soon as they come into power to pass whatever legislation that they want. But they haven't in the past, except for Harry Reid. He tried it. But the only law that went through was you do not need a supermajority when you're making appointments, when it comes to nominations. But when it comes to legislation, you still need that supermajority. So he's saying, he's painting this picture of Democrats coming into power, and what are they going to do? He says that they're going to make Washington, D.C. a state. They're going to make Puerto Rico a state. That way they can ensure they stay in power, they have more electoral votes, right? Let's take a look at the shutdown's consequences, because every day that it goes on, there's more and more consequences. Now, we already have a general idea of what's happening at the airport, even though it's getting worse with the air traffic controllers and the TSA workers calling out sick. They don't want to work for no pay. What can you do instead? Instead of not working for no pay, maybe you could get on DoorDash, go to Uber, find another job, maybe a part-time job, something that pays you so you can actually start paying on your bills, your rent, your mortgage, your car payment. But it's not just the airport, because now we're hearing about SSA, the Social Security Administration. Field offices have been shut down. Not just 1, 2, or 3, but over a dozen. You can go on the website, SSA's webpage, and you can look through there and you can see which offices are closed. Some of them are closed on specific days. Some of them have been closed for multiple days. But what that means, ultimately what it means, is less public service. SSA exists not just to cut you a check, but they're there if you want to file a disability claim, if you want to check on what's going on with your Social Security check. There's a lot of reasons why you would want to inquire through them. There's something called survivor benefits also that benefit kids. So these offices where you have some services that cannot be done online. You cannot just go to ssa.gov. You have to walk in to an actual field office. They're closed. You can't do that. So let's say that the shutdown actually ends this week. By Friday, the whole thing is resolved. What does that mean? Well, first off, what that means is the 700,000 to 800,000 furloughed employees, they would be coming back to work. The other thing that would mean is automatically people would receive their back pay. It would come in one lump sum, and then you would resume your normal pay cycle within your agency. That does not have to go through Congress. If they were to try to stop that, if they didn't want people to get back pay, you would have to pass new legislation through Congress, and that is highly unlikely right now. In addition to that, you would see HR specialists who are currently furloughed, they would come back into work. You would resume the hiring process for a lot of hiring actions across the government. If you go on usajobs.gov right now, not much has changed over the last few months. I mean, if you look for open to the public, you're looking at around 5,000 open jobs. So we could see HR getting back to work and posting some job announcements. But this also relies on that last executive order that we all saw when it comes to the federal hiring actions. It has to go through committee pretty much. There's like this committee that exists within agencies, and you have to get permission. You have to get permission from either OPM or OMB. Someone has to say it's okay. It's a lengthy process, unless you stick to the main 5 categories that we all know are exempted from any type of shenanigans, any type of hiring slowdown. And that's national security, immigration enforcement, public safety, law enforcement, and VA when it comes to ensuring that the veterans have health care. Now, we have agencies right now that are struggling to hire, and there's no job postings on usajobs.gov at all. Department of Labor, I've talked to people over there. They need people. They can't hire. They can't even post the job up. So that's one. SSA definitely needs people. VBA is a big one. VHA, they're hiring. They're hiring all kinds of medical professionals, but VBA could use some help as well. So hopefully we start to see some more job announcements come up. It's not going to be like 2024, but it should be more than what we've been seeing the last several months. It's really been a deadly combo of attrition, which is thanks to the hiring freeze and the government shutdown, and the probationary purge, the widespread layoffs, the VSIP, which was the separation pay, the DRP, and the early retirement. All that created the perfect storm, and that's why we have these large gaps throughout many federal agencies. And we'll probably still see layoffs to a certain extent take place in 2026. But agencies, they have to ask themselves the question, do I want to fail in my mission? Most people do not. Now, maybe the Secretary of the Department of Education, she wants to fail because she wants to make a case for the agency no longer having a mission or a purpose within this country. That's a whole other topic. But most people, when you're appointed as a leader of an organization, you want the organization to be successful. You want it to thrive. You want to meet the intent. The intent is to serve the American public. Now, in addition to this, artificial intelligence is coming one way or the other. It's taking over jobs. And this is already happening. The Federal Reserve has already admitted it's one of the reasons why we're at 0% job creation, 0% job growth. Some jobs in the federal government are more insulated, more protected when it comes to AI encroachment, meaning that they're safe. You can actually, rest assured that for the rest of the decade, AI is not coming for your job. So if you want to know those jobs, there's about 5 of them or so. If you want to know those jobs, I want you to check this video out next. Stay updated by signing up to the free newsletter down below. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.